today's court session. Our prosecutor is Miss Layden Smith, accusing Mr. Kick Vina of fraud. Miss Layden Smith, please present your case.
Your Honour, this photo that was posted through the media was in fact a fraud. It was posted on television and in newspapers and believed by many to be a picture of an alien coming to attack the planet. This photo was in fact just a picture of a toy soldier in a shoe in just a box in a sandpit. But digital editing nowadays enables us to change the photo using green screen technologies and visual effects to make it more realistic and change it to the photo you see here.
But who would commit such a terrible crime?
He would!
I plead him guilty. I'm innocent.
Silence in the court. Miss Layden Smith, please continue.
This man is Mr. Kick Vina from Interspace Weapons Industry. He changed this photo to make money out of his bits of plastic, supposedly weapons, to protect people from the aliens. This, as you can see, is an example of one of the weapons. As you can see, this one is made out of Play-Doh. I don't know why people bought this stuff. I didn't know they were that desperate. But anyway, millions of people bought this junk to protect them and their families. Many people were affected, including businesses, from the loss of all their money. I now call on my first witness, Mr. Yu from the media. Mr. Yu, how did this falsified photo affect you and your industry?
My company put this photo in newspapers and on television, assuming that it was true, that aliens were coming to attack. We told people to buy their weapons if they wanted to survive. In return, after people had bought the weapons and the photo turned out to be falsified, we lost all our business. Everybody saw we were liars, and so now all of our workers are down to a wage of $1. Our newspaper can't afford to be printed. Our news cannot afford to be on television. And anyway, nobody wants to hear it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Yu, what would you like to happen? How can we stop this from happening again?
I think we should enforce consequence laws. If people place falsified photos for everyone to see, even in fashion magazines and not major things like this, there needs to be a consequence.
Thank you, Mr. Yu. As you can see, Your Honor, the media is dreadfully affected.
It was their own fault.
Silence in the court. Miss Layden Smith, please continue.
The government was also affected. I now call on my second witness, Miss Hill from the government. Miss Hill, how did this case affect the government?
The government was in despair. We had got very terrified that aliens were coming. We spent all the country's money buying fake protective gear. And so, with recession overcoming the country, our popularity fell. We lost millions of votes. And as our economy falls, we are unable to help our people who are desperately needed them. Oh, this is what horror. Our government is crushed.
Miss Hill, how can we stop this from happening again?
I think that we should investigate first before they are placed on the media to check before something like this occurs. I also think that we should enforce the laws against fraud.
Thank you, Miss Hill. As you can see, Your Honor, this photograph has caused many a tear. But the most heartbreaking is that of families. I now call on my last witnesses, Mrs. Rivers and her son, Timmy Rivers. Mrs. Rivers, how did this photo affect families and especially yours?
You cannot believe the hardship that photo has caused a single parent like me. When I saw that aliens were coming, I knew I had to protect little Timmy here. going wage. We've now run out of money. We can't afford things that are essential, like food. I'm so hungry. That photograph has had so much effect on families, especially ours. Timmy was going to start school, but he couldn't afford it. And we're about to be kicked out of our house because we haven't paid the rent. We don't have any money. You can't imagine what we're going through. We need to clean up our own mess.
Mrs. Rivers, how can we stop this from happening again?
So, Timmy, we should prosecute and press charges to anyone who does this. We need to clean up our own mess. How can our country let this happen?
Well, I can see where this is going. This falsified photo has really affected our society. Miss Lane Smith, what could be done about this? Except for putting Mr. Kickbeater in jail.
I think we need to enforce consequence laws. We need to stop this from happening again. We need to investigate photos before we place them on the media to protect our nation. If anything is found falsified and a catastrophe like this has occurred, the government is to blame. But otherwise, we should be able to prosecute people who falsify photos that are placed for everyone to see. As for stopping it altogether, maybe people see how much pain falsified photos really cause their community. They'll stop.
Well, thank you, Miss Lane Smith. You put up a very worthy case. I have decided that Mr. Kickbeater is guilty. Guilty as charged.
I would like to congratulate the boys and girls. They've done a wonderful job. And just as recognition, I'd like to call to the front. Sebastian?
That's you.
Oh, that's you. love the hat. Okay, Tom? Drew? Kim? Elaine?
Oh no, I won't.
Okay. Okay, Finn? Well done. Sophie? Madeline? And their hard-working facilitator, Damien. Okay, thanks guys. Now, if I could ask us all to